Hey guys, Robin here, and welcome to another movie review. So, last time on my movie review show, I reviewed the 1976 comedy The Big Boss. But today's movie is different. Today's movie is from 1964, making it one of the very few 60s movies that I own. And that movie is Herschell Gordon Lewis's classic gorefest 2000 Maniacs. Yeah. Now, 2000 Maniacs is one of the first movies that had like actual gory effects okay, before before now this is the second part in Herschel Gordon Lewis's Blood trilogy. The first movie being called Blood Feast, which came out in 1963, the year before this, and the final part of the chapter came the year after this in 1965, called Color Me Blood Red. But a little bit of history on gore movies first. Now the first movie that actually had some kind of gore, it's a French short film called Ancien. It's a French movie called Ancien Andalo or je un Andalou. Basically translates to an Andalusian dog, which kind of was an insult against one of the guys that made it. That features an eye getting slashed by a razor. Then in 1932, Universal put out the movie The Mummy, which actually shows people like impaled on spears. And from then on, the Hays Code came in, which was incredibly gratuitously restrictive about what you could and could not show. Like, you couldn't show nudity or sex, you couldn't have a bad guy get away with a crime. It was just a whole bunch of really, really stupid restrictions. But towards the end of the 50s, the Hays Code started going away, where people, like, for example, did this movie called Fiend Without a Face from 1959 that has actual like brains getting smashed with an axe and brains get shot. And there's also Eyes Without a Face, which actually has like a which actually does have a scene of a girl's face being surgically removed. And then there was The Birds from 1963, which shows which the same year as Blood Feast, which shows someone's eyes getting pecked out by a bird. Yeah. And then yeah, now the story of 2000 Maniacs is well, the movie starts out with one of the townsfolk starts out with a hillbilly in a tree, and he sees a car has a license plate from a northern state. I should mention that this was the first hillbilly movie, and it was shot and set in the deep south. so he's up in a tree all day with a pair of binoculars, and if a car comes down the road that has a plate from a that has a license plate from a state that was part of the North during the Civil War, that was part of the Union during the Civil War, he gives his buddy like a certain hand signal to let him know to switch out a sign pointing them in a direction of another town, to replace it with a detour sign that would lead them into the town where that would lead them into this town. But if the car coming down the road has a plate that is from a state that was part of the Confederacy, then he gets the guy's attention, and he just says mm-mm, like that, and the guy Ishii and the guy, after they trick someone into driving towards the town, he swaps the signs back. Um, and if the guy in the tree basically gives him a hand communication to not to just let them go, he kind of sits there leaning on the sign, waving as they drive by. So yeah. Now this town, which is called Pleasant Valley, was the site of a massacre where a bunch of Union soldiers went rogue, killed everyone in the town, and burned it to the ground. And now, every 100 years, this town comes back. This town and its people come back, which is and which is an issue considering that this town was destroyed during the Civil War. Yet it's spontaneously back again. But this town somehow has paved roads, parking lots, an auto mechanic's garage, telephones, power lines, and apparently everyone living in the town has a full working understanding of the technology that was around back in 1964, which is kind of odd, but then again, it's a Herschell Gordon Lewis movie. You're not really supposed to expect a whole lot of. Yeah, don't expect. Yeah, just sit your. Yeah, but thing is, when you're watching a Herschell Gordon Lewis movie, you're just supposed to sit your butt down and not ask any questions. Yeah. So yeah, yeah, and this movie. Now, as I said, this is the first splatter movie. So I'm gonna talk about the kills now. So if you have not seen this movie yet and you would like to see it, mute the video okay, mute the video when I say to, and when I go like this, the spoilers are over, okay? Mute. Okay, for those of you who have not muted for whatever reason. Now this movie is from 1964, but it feels more like a movie that it feels more like a movie from the 70s. Now being one of the first gore movies, the blood effects in this movie, well, much like much like the Charles Bronson classic Death Wish, which came out 10 years after 2000 Maniacs did, um, the blood doesn't look like blood that would come out of a person. It looks more like red paint. But anyway, this one of the people this town um so the first woman she gets into an argument with her husband, and she's seduced by one of the very handsome person living in the town, Harper, who takes her into the woods. He shows her his knife. He cuts off her thumb, even though you can see her actual thumb is still tucked underneath her finger. Where she's then taken to the mayor's office. She's held down, and a crazy guy chops off one of her arms. Then another guy who looks like John Cryer is killed when his limbs are attached to four different horses, and the horses run off in all directions, tearing off his arms. Although you don't actually see the limbs getting torn off, you just hear the guy scream and see one of his legs getting dragged away. Another guy is trapped inside a barrel, which is hammered full of nails, and he's sent rolling down a hill, killing him. And another girl is tied to the base of a dunk tank thing, where if the target is hit, a big boulder is going to come down and crush her. And then Harper sinks in the swamp, but he comes back at the end of the movie. Welcome back to those of you who did not want spoilers. I hope I didn't keep you waiting too long. I hope I didn't keep you waiting too long. Now basically, 6 people are led to this town, and 4 of them are killed. And now there is a pretty cool chase scene involving two people surviving, involving two surviving characters who who escaped the town in their then brand new 1964 Mercury Monterey convertible. The townspeople give brief chase in a 1936 Chevy Master Rat Rod pickup, which, by the way, is the only pickup truck in the whole movie. And it's almost at the end of the movie. So, yeah, this was the first redneck horror movie. And there's only one truck in the movie. There's only one truck in the movie, and it's only there for like 3 minutes, if even. Yeah. And anyway, these people are the guests of honor. Now, now, yeah, the town was massacred, which is by Union soldiers. So they trap Northerners from they trick north people coming from northern states to come to the town so they can kill them all in gruesome ways as a blood vengeance. They don't kill, which is why cars from southern state which is why cars from states that were part of the Confederacy are just let to go on their merry way. But yeah, yeah. Despite a few questions that you might ask or bring up or whatever, this movie really doesn't have a whole lot. This movie doesn't bring up a whole lot of questions. You're just meant to kind of just relax and have. You're just meant to relax and sit back and watch. Now, I would include a link to this movie's trailer, but much like the trailer for Westworld, the 1973 movie, not the TV show, and Soylent Green, the trailer basically gives away all the good parts of the movie, like it gives away all the kills. So I'm not going to link the movie's trailer. I'm going to link to the full movie if you want to watch it. Now, I said before, this movie is from 1964, yet it feels more like a 70s movie. So I can recommend it for that. Like the movie being ahead of it. Like the movie's definitely ahead of its time. Like it is not the kind of movie that because it was ahead of its time because it was one of the first like real gore movies ever made. Aside from the one I mentioned earlier, like Uncia and Andalo and The Mummy and Fiend Without a Face and Eyes Without a Face and Eyes Without a Face. But yeah, yeah, 2000 Maniacs. Um, it's a good, it's a now. Even though I had a problem with the low body count and the low level of gore, because again, I'm a huge gore hound. Hence the reason why Dead Alive is on my personal favorite shelf. But I will say this movie's theme song, which by the way was actually sung by Herschell Gordon Lewis himself, it's really good. It's really catchy. Like I'd be lying if I didn't say a few times while that song when I kind of bobbing my head or tapping my foot. I'd bobbing my head or tapping my foot. But yeah, I mean, if you're just looking for a cheesy, silly movie with a lot of really, really hammy acting, and you don't mind a bit of gore, and you don't mind like a bit of gore in your movies, then I really can recommend this because it's a good movie. Because even though it's not as gory as I would have liked it to be, I still had fun watching it. I enjoyed the hammy acting. I enjoyed the hammy acting and and well, basically, I mean, like, look, the back of the box summed it up perfectly. We Look, the back of the box sums it up perfectly. Take this one home for a late night treat, a party favorite. Because yeah, it's a good mood. It's a good little. Well, because thing is, this isn't it's not a good movie. It's not a bad movie either. It's it really is one of those that's so bad it's good movies. Like, it's a lot of cheesy, gory, blood-soaked fun. The main song is really good and catchy, really good and catchy. Almost makes me wonder why Herschell Gordon Lewis never pursued a career as a singer. But anyway, yeah. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little review of 2000 Maniacs. If you enjoyed the movie, if you by the way, I would like to give a special mention to a YouTuber called the Maniac named Justin. He reviews these type of movies. In fact, he is kind of the one who got me really interested to watch this movie. So yeah, 2000 Maniacs. I've spoken my piece. It's a so bad it's good movie. It is. It's a lot of fun. It's really cheesy, and it's a very important stepping stone because aside from being the second splatter flick, this introduced the hillbilly horror movie, and so where without 2000 Maniacs, we probably would not have movies like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre or the Long Turn movies. Basically, basically, if it wasn't for 2000 Maniacs, the hillbilly horror genre probably would not be a thing. But yeah. Now, unfortunately, Herschell Gordon Lewis passed away in 2016. But however, his influence is legendary. Is legendary. Now, 2000 Maniacs actually did get a remake in 2005 starring Robert Englund called 2001 Maniacs. And I have yet to watch that, but if I do see it, I'll film a review of it and I'll put it up here. So, yeah. Oh, but and before I sign off, like I did with my in my review of the shit piece known as Escape from Planet Earth and Doomsday Machine, I'd like to show like what it looks like. Now, when I got this in the mail, it was literally just the cassette in a box the guy sent it with, and the box for the movie itself, which was nicely folded. But anyway, so I took I took yeah. What I did was I took the clamshell case from Doomsday Machine. I put it into this. I took an old Disney white clamshell, took the cover out, and put the thing in, put the cassette for Doomsday Machine in this, and yeah, this is the thing for 2000 Maniacs. Yeah, nice little cassette by Comet Video. Yeah, yeah, and yeah. Okay, yeah. Now, okay. I'm gonna show you some pictures like from the back, which might not be appropriate. So if you're not of legal age, uh, click away, or if you don't mind gore, just keep watching. I'm not gonna, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, this is yeah, see? Yeah. Woman get her arm cut off. Woman before her thing gets cut off, and the girl and the paddle and the dunk tank boulder girl before and after. Yeah, so yeah. And that's all I have to say about my copy of 2000 Maniacs. So thank you all for watching, and I will see you all soon in the near future. Peace.